Welcome, adventurers, to the Dangers and Dragons podcast.
Oh,
We delve into legendary tales of heroes, monsters, magic, and those epic quests that shape worlds.
we do.
We're here to ignite your imagination and explore the realms of fantasy and really kind of bring these timeless stories to life.
Oh, absolutely. Though sometimes I worry we might bring a little too much to life, especially when we're dealing with time travel. Last week's deep dive into temporal paradoxes, well, let's just say my alarm clock hasn't been quite right ever since.
Well, joining me, as always, is our resident lore master, the one and only Julia.
Hello, everyone. Always happy to be here, ready to explore the more fantastical corners of history, mythology, and magic.
And today we're diving into a tale of, well, temporal shenanigans.
Ooh.
A story called Mischief, where an elven thief gets their hands on, well, a time machine with unpredictable results.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Unpredictable time travel. Always a recipe for delightful chaos. We might encounter alternate timelines, bootstrap paradoxes, maybe even a grandfather paradox or two.
Before we jump through time, don't forget to rate and follow the Dangers and Dragons podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Your support helps us bring you more of these fantastical stories.
Right.
Okay, so Mischief. This story throws us right into the action with, well, not your typical hero.
Not at all.
We're talking about an elven thief who stumbles upon, in some dusty, forgotten archive, a prototype time machine.
Right. And not the sleek, futuristic kind you see in, those hollow films. This thing is called the chronosphere, and it sounds more like,
A mess.
kind of screeching gears, random sparks, the kind of contraption that gives you a headache just by looking at it. But hey, that's often how groundbreaking tech starts, right?
Yeah.
A bit rough around the edges.
Exactly. And this thief, maybe not thinking things through, sees this sputtering chronosphere as the perfect way to escape, well, some trouble they've gotten into.
Classic thief move. Always thinking about the quick escape. But you gotta wonder what kind of trouble they were in to think, you know what? Time travel is the answer.
Right. So the escape is, well, chaotic,
As you'd imagine.
but successful in a noisy sort of way. Now, the thief tries to make a short jump, just a quick hop,
Sensible, really.
you'd think. But they end up face to face with a dinosaur.
Oh my. In the prehistoric era, it's right there in the story. The air was thick with the scent of ferns and, well, things that definitely weren't ferns. And there, towering above the elf, was a creature straight out of a nightmare.
Yikes. Clearly, the professor who built the chronosphere had warned about the calibration being off and to take short hops. But, well, thieves in following instructions.
Not exactly a match made in heaven, are they? It really highlights that no matter how amazing a tool or technology is, understanding its limitations is crucial. Like imagine trying to make a cake but ignoring the recipe's instructions about oven temperature. You'll end up with a disaster.
A dinosaur-sized disaster.
Oh.
But it gets even wilder. The next jump isn't any better. The thief ends up in the middle of a battlefield.
Oh, no.
Gunsmoke, people shouting, the whole chaotic scene. And it's not a battle from any history book the elf knows.
This is where things start to get really interesting from a lore perspective, I mean. The story hints that even this imprecise time travel is creating ripples, alterations, paradoxes.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
It makes you wonder, are they jumping into alternate timelines that branched off from the main one? And if they are, what happens to those timelines when someone from another reality stumbles in? It's like tossing a rock into a still pond.
You create ripple.
Exactly.
So the thief, not too bothered by the implications, is more focused on the adventure of it all.
Because of course they are. It's like, hey, unintended consequences, what are those? Let's see what kind of mischief we can stir up.
Right. So Act 2 of our story, playing with history. Now, the timeline is wobbling, and guess who shows up?
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
The Time Wardens. Essentially the guardians of history, and they are not happy.
Makes sense.
But this elf is slippery.
They are a thief, after all. Evasion is their specialty.
In ancient Egypt, they leave behind these cheeky hieroglyphic messages to taunt the wardens.
I can just picture it. You'll never catch me, slowpokes. Written in ancient Egyptian.
Then they tweak a pirate queen's treasure map, sending the wardens on a wild goose chase.
Oh, that's clever.
And get this, they even armed cavemen during the Ice Age. The story says they saw it as, well, improvements and a pinch of chaos.
Improvements is a generous way to put it. Makes you think about perspective, right?
Right.
What seems like a harmless prank to one person can be a major disruption to another.
Yeah, but it gets more serious.
Oh.
The story mentions a minor emperor who, well, meets an untimely end. And his scepter, replaced with a leak.
A leak.
A leak.
Oh, dear.
It's funny, in a dark sort of way.
Well, it does highlight that even seemingly insignificant actions can have unintended and sometimes quite humorous consequences. But it also raises a serious point about the butterfly effect, right? Even a small change in the past could have massive ripple effects, completely altering the course of history.
Okay, so Act 3.
Yeah.
Things get real.
Uh-oh.
The professor's warnings, about paradoxes and ripples, they're not just warnings anymore. They're like full-on panic mode.
Yeah, when the resident expert is freaking out, you know it's bad.
The timeline, it's not just being nudged. It's like fraying.
Yeah.
Like a threadbare tapestry about to completely unravel.
And the Time Wardens, they're closing in, I bet.
Oh, they are.
This is where the story shifts, doesn't it? From playful time travel shenanigans to something far more serious. Those little improvements the thief was making.
It's starting to look like a real mess.
Like yanking on knots in a tangled fishing line.
And then there's this jump. It's not into a historical period or even another battlefield. It's into
Nothingness.
pretty much a silent, empty world. No people, no animals, no sound, except for this, sad ticking of the chronosphere, which is now clearly malfunctioning.
Oh, wow. That's powerful imagery.
It is. And the story describes the ground as strangely smooth, like everything has been.
Erase.
Yeah. And the professor's explanation is chilling. He says it's a paradox too big to fix.
The future gone because of all the little changes, the improvements that added up to a catastrophe.
It's like that saying, for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost.
And for want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the message was lost. For want of a message, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail.
Exactly.
It's a powerful reminder that even the smaller actions can have huge unintended consequences.
So, Act 4, regret and restoration. This is where the thief finally gets it.
Oh, good.
Not because the Time Wardens catch them, but because they see that empty world, the result of their actions. The story says the guilt was worse than any punishment the Wardens could give.
It's amazing how sometimes it's not external forces that change us, but our own internal realization of the impact of our actions.
Right. And the punishment, in a way, fits the crime. No prison, but the thief has to fix everything. Each jump is no longer an adventure, it's a chore.
Like cleaning up a huge mess you made.
Exactly. Fixing that Pirate Queen's map, calming down those now fire-wielding cavemen, apologizing to the leak-wielding emperor. It's a long, awkward process.
Talk about a reality check. No more romanticized view of time travel, just facing the consequences of your actions, one messy fix at a time.
Can they do it?
They fix the timeline.
Yeah. The timeline is healed, though scarred. The professor and the wardens are, well, they're watching.
Keeping a close eye, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Can't really blame him after all that.
And the thief. No more thieving, just responsibility.
A complete change of pace. From chaotic mischief maker to, well, a custodian of history.
Last act. Lingering mischief. The thief is reformed. But sometimes they look at those chronosphere sketches, late at night.
Ah, the allure of the forbidden. You can take the elf out of time travel, but can you take the time travel out of the elf?
It seems not entirely.
Well, I guess a little curiosity is only human. Or, elven.
But every day, they polish the chronosphere.
A reminder of the mess they made.
Yeah.
And a symbol of their commitment to not making that mess again.
But the story ends with this thought. The thief still wonders if there are other improvements waiting to be made out there in the vastness of time.
Oh, dear. I guess some habits and temptations are hard to break completely.
Wow, what a journey through time. It seems even small acts of mischief can have enormous, even catastrophic consequences.
It certainly makes you think about cause and effect, doesn't it? And the ripple effect. It's like the butterfly effect, only with, with time travel.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about, doesn't it? The idea that even seemingly minor changes could unravel everything.
Right. And it's not just about time travel. It applies to so many things in life. Our choices, our actions, they all have consequences, both big and small, intended and unintended.
Yeah.
And maybe, like the elf in the story, we all have a bit of mischief in us. But it's about using that mischief wisely, thinking about the impact of our actions, and maybe, just maybe, leaving the timeline alone.
Good advice.
From a lore master who's seen firsthand what happens when time travel goes wrong.
Well, that's all the time we have for this adventure, but the legends continue. Join us next time for another thrilling story from from the realms of fantasy and adventure.
Until then.
Don't forget to rate and follow the Dangers and Dragons podcast so you don't miss any of our epic tales. Until next time, may your own adventures be legendary.